The ones that have vacant lots, I think we're just going to go to social media and on those because there's no water being delivered. So like we picked the first road that only has 2 houses but several connections so that we can get an idea how this is going to work and not cut down too much time in the beginning when we're learning your system, okay? So we've started on that street because of there only being 2 homes. Okay, I think one of them, I went over there, I think one is vacant right now even. So that is a good road to start on. And then we move out from there, and we'll probably add in a crew. Once we get it under control, we'll add in a crew and have 2 crews running. And then that would speed up the whole list. Right now, that's all based on 1 crew doing the whole thing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
The board have any questions yet?
Go ahead. Anything else? Do you have questions, Emery?
I had a couple.
Go ahead.
On the mains that are cement asbestos, right? So I've always heard you have to keep those full. You cannot let that pressure drop down on those, right? So that stays full when they're doing this, is that how it works? You're shutting off laterals in certain sectors and stuff like that, right? So those cement asbestos ones, those stay full, number one. And number two, if you do some kind of a drilling and stuff, that's like for those corporate connections, I guess, that could be a problem. And do we follow the procedure that once we turn the water off, we get a water test, and for 3 days we let them know, is that part of the deal, or is that something different? When, you know,
Well, there's a lot of questions all at once.
Well, it's one big question.
Yes, and yes. No, it's the old service saddle's coming off and the new service saddle's going over the top on the same hole. Those mains can be dewatered.
Oh, they can.
Yeah. It's just that if you dewater the system completely, You stand a chance of having a backflow condition, but where it might siphon something in from another location. But this is going to be a really controlled small area where we control when it gets shut off. We charge it back up, flush it out, and if bacterial, the way that they're handling the pipe installation and everything else, there's a specification for exactly how that's done to keep it sanitary, and everything's got to be plugged until it's put together. It's got to be wiped and swapped down with the chlorine mixture, and so.
Well, I know in the past, they always try to never shut the water off because they didn't want to go through that procedure where they go out and take the test up to that place in Sonora. They always kept water flowing, so they actually going to shut water off, right? Which make... if the state wants water samples every time we turn it off, then we'll do it. But that hasn't been it hasn't been an issue with the way that we're. That was the way it was.
That would be costly.
It would be. Yeah, that's why I was curious.
That would be very costly to have it checked every time.
I mean, if we were putting a new main into service, if we were putting a new water main, stretch of water main into service that needed to be sampled, we'd do it that way. But with the service connection pipes, as long as it's properly handled and kept clean and flushed out when we turn it on and everything else, there won't be a problem with it.
Okay, so there won't be those like 3-day notice deals?
No.
Okay, that's my question.
Cindy, anything else?
No,
I one question about quality control and inspections. Do we have to have that, or are you guys fully licensed, and how is that going to happen?
Jeff, I think you guys are lead inspector.
Yeah, we have an inspector who's approving all the submittals, and they'll also be on site doing inspections.
Oh, wow.
Is that in our existing bid, or is that a supplemental cost to the district?
It's an additional cost to the district between us and the district engineer.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to have the inspector on site constantly.
Periodically.
Periodically, randomly, and then also working with Randy, because Randy will be doing some, with that. He'll go out with a form and document the conditions for the day and where they're working and what they're getting done, and so it'll be a cost-effective collaborative effort to make sure quality control's there.
Okay. Did we do that with Norwich?
On which?
On when we had them do service line replacements, did we have anybody inspect their work?
Maybe our guys wouldn't.
Yeah, we did that. Okay. Okay, thank you.
That doesn't have the license, the D or the whatever it is license that it takes to make.
It'll be a cost-effective collaborative effort to make sure quality control's there.
Okay. Did we do that with Norwich?
On which?
On when we had them do service line replacements, did we have anybody inspect their work?
Maybe our guys wouldn't.
Yeah, we did that. Okay. Okay, thank you.
That doesn't have the license, the D or the whatever it is license that it takes to make that, they can do it, but he has to oversee it because he's got the license, correct, Randy?
I believe
Or whoever it is.
Reed has a license as
Reed's
well.
license.
No, I'm talking about Nyridge now. I'm talking about Nyridge.
Does
When
Norwich
they
have
use-
a distribution license?
Yeah, right, because you got the license.
I don't know if they do or not.
Okay.
I don't know.
But you.
No, we're
You're
the
the oversight.
ones, we're in responsible
Yeah,
charge
you
of
would
that.
say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other comments? This would be good. Thank you.
Jeff, anything to add about construction or quality control or any of that?
Other than we're the same as the inspection of the installation of the service laterals and the meter lines and those kind of things. We're going to be doing random compaction testing too, to make sure the trench and road section is put back correctly for the county standard and the permit that we have.
This is so great to actually have an engineer, because we've always had, what's her name, what was saying that, in here at a meeting and is gonna be doing stuff.
Yeah,
We've not had that since year one.
we're pretty excited about it as well.
Really great.
I know Jeff is too. And that list just keeps growing.
When you install these lines from the main line to the meter, will you be flushing those prior to connection or after you have it connected to their meter?
I'm not the techie, so I can't answer that.
I believe the spec is that it's going to be flushed prior to connection to the meter.
Okay, because I was just curious, you know, we again, try to capitalize on every opportunity. We have a lot of meter issues. So I'm thinking if you're looking at there and you're flushing it, you turn on the thing, make sure the meter's working or whatever. I was just trying to see what else, you know.
There gotta be solids in your meter, so you're gonna.
Well, I know, but then again, you know.
I got one other thing, I can't have to say this. You know, a lot of this stuff is bluebell, if you know what that is. And when you go to turn this stuff on, this is to both of you, turn it on really slow because that hammer really blows those out. And I've had that happen on my property, and I got a half a mile piece of pipe that bluebell. And it'll break, and, you know, it has to be turned on really slow. That's how Randy does it. Just real, you can't give them the full hammer. It'll blow them out. It's just really crummy pipe all everywhere. It's really inferior pipe all over the place.
Yeah,
I'm
we
not
were
involved
aware
in
that
it.
there's bluebell out there before we even did it.
I think there's even,
And we did some research on that.
Yeah.
I think there's even bluebell on the mains. You know.
Bluebells, typically after the last fire hydrant. It's not as, there's some areas that have the main as bluebell, but for the most part, I think they're going to be doing with AC pipe throughout most of the area that they're working.
I'm fairly positive the list that we had to pick from was all AC pipe, and then 2 or 3 connections were PVC. I don't think there was any bluebell at all.
I was mostly talking about
This
laterals
is gonna
going
be
to
him as well.
long distances to houses and stuff like over ranch land. You know, I don't see that on here. And you know, my property is not quite like that. But there is some of that stuff out there. Awful stuff.
So it looks like the first week of March, start digging.
Great.
I'm gonna be soft.
Well, you get congratulations, Pete, because you got this grant and did it. You know, we haven't ever done this kind of stuff. You've really done a good job. Thank you.
We did the equivalent of your report already, I think.
He talked, I think we're just kind of doing a combination. Pete wanted to let her go, but he talked about what he worked on, his staffing analysis, capital projects, DWR reimbursements, reporting, Ranchito well.
I'm just curious about the leaks for the month. I don't know what it's like. We'll find that out.
Well, unfortunately it's going to slide for right now. Wasn't able to sit down with the spreadsheet and go through it.
And I also believe we have
Unfortunately it's going to slide. Unfortunately it's going to slide. Unfortunately it's going to slide.